In today's tutorial, we're going to be drawing Gogeta in his base form in the style of Dragon Ball Legend. I think Dragon Ball Legend's artwork is amazing. I've already done quite a few characters in their style, and we're going to do another one here today. So you can see what I'm using here today for this drawing. Oh, I've got a pencil sharpener, a couple pencils, a couple of erasers, and we're starting with this cube in the middle, not in the middle, but towards the top of the page. This is a 9-inch by 12-inch piece of drawing paper. The cube itself is 1 inch by 1 inch. And I'm also going to show you where I place the cube. It's going to start with the upper left corner over here. Okay, so we're ready to get started. Just remember, make sure you really sharpen your pencil for this part because we're going to do a full body tutorial and the face is going to be kind of small. So you really need your pencil to be sharp so you can get all those fine details. So for the cube, we're going to start just above the middle portion over here, and we're going to start with the outside of his face. It's going to pull down not to the center of the cube, but right here to the middle and off to the side. And we're going to pull back in for the chin. And the chin is going to make up the very center towards the bottom. Now, this isn't, when you go to the other side of the jawline, it's not going to be exactly in the middle. It's going to be up a little bit. And we'll also pull back. Actually, I take it back. It is going to be closer to the middle. My bad. So after that, let's go ahead and pull back up. I think right about here towards, is that the middle? No, just a little bit under the middle of that cube. You can see it's going off in a bit of an angle. And now we can go ahead and draw his ear. And the ear on the other side. We're kind of going out of order here, but it doesn't really matter. It's okay to switch up the steps. Now we can go ahead and get to the face, and after we draw his eyes, you're going to see we're going to make some adjustments to this side of his face over here because it's actually going to be two curves, but we want to draw his eyes first. So a little bit off center, we're going to draw the crease between his eyes and his eyebrows. It's going to go all the way up to his sideburn over here. So his eyebrow is going to go all the way up to the sideburn. And don't forget to add kind of a little bit of an arc over here. And for his eyes, just make sure that you don't make it too big or too small. It's going to be starting right about here, all the way up to the middle line, and we're going to create this little arc over here. We'll save drawing his pupils for later because it's just too small right now, and the line that we're using for our reference is kind of going to get in the way anyways. So after we erase those lines, then we'll draw the pupils. And we can draw the other side of the eyebrow too. And the bottom of the eyebrow is actually going to go to, meet up with the ear over here. And again, we're going to make a nice little arc and come back down. I might have exaggerated there, but we'll try that, see how it looks. If not, I can always change it. Now straight up, out to the side. Let's see, so we want these eyebrows to be level, so you can see I made this one a little bit too high. So it's not going to be exactly the top of the ear. I guess it's going to be a little bit lower than that. Okay, that looks much better. So now for his eye, maybe that's a little too high. I think it is. Maybe right here is better. And very close to the crease between his eyes, we're going to draw the end of that eye. Man, that's still too high. Making some noob mistakes over here. Oh well. Okay, that's good enough for now. It's always the far side eye that gives you troubles. So for his nose, it's going to be not directly connected to the crease between his eyes. We're going to go a little bit below that, and right over here, we're going to start his nose. It's going to come to form a bit of a triangle towards the bottom, and actually the outside of his nose should be very close to this center line over here. So it should almost meet up with that center line. Like I said, everything's going to be drawn very small over here. But I think I made his nose a little bit too small too. Actually, no, that should be fine. It should be fine. We'll draw the little smirk underneath of his nose. And we're going to kind of follow the path under the bottom of his nose, and that's the angle we're going to use to create his smirk. You can draw the lines underneath of his eyes. Or you can draw that later. I mean, it's not really necessary right now. And his chin line. Let's see. Okay. So now we've drawn his face. We can kind of make a few adjustments to his the outside of his face. We're going to bring his chin up just a little bit. All right, so let's bring this down. So you'll notice that this line is very sharp coming up to his eyes, okay? But then it's going to become a little bit less of a curve. And right where we meet his nose, we're going to come back down from there. It's not going to be a curve. Maybe as much of a straight line as you can. All right, so far so good. So now next thing is we're going to draw his hairline. And this is really going to start to look like Vegeta. But especially after we draw the hairline. But after we start drawing his hair and some of his other characteristics, then it's really going to look like Gogeta. And his widow's peak should meet the top of his eyebrows over here. And we'll give that a little bit more shape. Okay, and his outside of his forehead seems to be bulging out a little bit too much. So we'll fix that. And I think we're pretty much ready to get rid of this cube over here. I don't think we need it anymore. We'll draw a few more details for the face, and then we'll move on with the rest of his body. So the only details we're going to draw right now for his hair is actually going to be just that one piece of hair at the top, the defining one. I'm sorry, I guess his bangs is what I'm trying to say. Because he just looks way too much like Vegeta and it's starting to bother me. Not because he looks like Vegeta, but just because I want him to look like who I'm trying to draw. Big Vegeta fan. All right, we're all set. So let's go ahead and go on to draw his neck. So we're going to zoom out a bit because we're going to start drawing his upper body. So towards the bottom of where that cube used to be is where we're drawing his traps, and we're going to draw a bit of a circle, not a circle, but a bit of an oval shape over here that's going to help us draw his upper body. And it's going to kind of be smaller towards his far side and larger towards his side facing us. Well, at this angle, I guess they're going to be pretty much the same size, to be honest, or close to it. And now let's draw his pecs, or just start to create the shape for his upper pecs. And you can see at the top, it's curving upward, and towards the bottom, it's kind of going downward. All right, so we want to kind of define where his waistline is going to be, and it's going to be pretty close, not pretty close, but a little bit further towards the outside of this oval. So we're going to take the distance from the top of his pec to that oval and go a little bit further, and that's where we're going to draw his waistline. And his waistline is going to cover this side of his ear, from this side all the way down from his ear. And on the other side, it's going to be a little bit outside of his ear. And you can see how there's a little bit of a curve to his chest over here. We're going to do the same. We're going to follow the same path over here with his abs. And for the top of his abs, we're going to go create a curve at the top. And now we're going to want to go out and in. We're going to go out and in and create a curve towards the middle. And again, we're going to go out and back in, out and back in. And for his muscles, so we can kind of see the back of his muscles. I guess that's what they're trying to show here. We're going to create this bulge and the same thing on the other side. And it's going to start almost halfway towards his abs. So not, yeah, exactly. So about halfway towards his abs. We'll create another bulge over here. Okay, looking pretty good. I kind of, this is looking a bit questionable over here. We'll fix his abs later on. It looks all right for now. Okay, we can start getting started with his jacket that he's wearing. And the first thing is, let's go ahead and take care of his, what do you call this? I guess it's collar. And it's going to go down to the middle of his pecs. And then we're going to go back out. And it's going to meet his jawline over here. Same thing on the other side. We're actually not going to follow all the way to top to the bottom of his neck. So about halfway there. I'd say about the chin line. So right about the chin line, we're going to start the other side of his collar. And again, it's going to meet halfway towards his chest. And here, just below the ear, we're going to start. Bring it back down. And that's going to make up his collar. So for his traps, we're going to follow his the bottom of his chin over here. And over here, we're going to start the shoulder. Okay, so now for his bicep and his arm, we're actually going to follow all the way until the belt line, I would say, and then just start to go in a little bit. And we'll worry about the rest of the arm later. So just right now, make sure that you bring it down to the belt line and down to the waist, and then just bring it in a little bit. So same thing with the outside. We're gonna follow start from his chin, bring it down. That's gonna be his shoulder. And the arm, bring it down. And maybe a little bit past the belt line, just barely, and then bring it in. And we'll go out a little bit over here outside of his waist so we can draw his belts. That should be good enough. Don't exaggerate the size of his belt. Okay, so let's go ahead and draw the rest of his jackets. There's going to be another, I guess, I don't know what to call this, another shoulder pad, I guess. Outside of his shoulder, we're going to bring it all the way down past his shoulder. It's going to meet up with his arm a little bit. And then we're going to take that all the way around his shoulder. It's going to cut in here, okay? And on the other side, I'm going to just cut in a couple times. All right, that looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and draw the other side. Yeah, I think that looks fine. We'll worry about his muscles later. So on the other side, part of it is going to be hidden by the jacket. So you're going to create this little curve over here. And part of it's going to be hidden by his collar. But it's definitely going to cover up his shoulder. There's going to be a little bit of his shoulder showing over here. And this is a mess right now, so let's go ahead and clean up a little bit. Okay, we're ready to continue. So the next step is going to be to draw his jackets. And normally it goes straight down, but I guess the artist is imagining there's some wind over here. So we're going to take the bottom of his collar, go down right about here, and we're going to create a fold or a crease. It's going to go all the way outside of his shoulder from the bottom over here. And we're going to create another layer of his jackets just from over here, close to his waist, but not all the way there. And right out of this corner, create the outside of that, the inside of that jacket. I think that should be fine. That should be fine. We'll leave that. All right, so now for the other side of his jacket, we'll start again from the bottom of his collar, bring it down all the way to the middle of this top ab, bring that back down. Then we'll cut out here to create a curve all the way from his arm to the inside of that jacket. And then we got to show the back of the inside of his jacket too. because it goes around. All right, so clean up one more time. And just so we know where everything's at, we're gonna color in that jacket just right now. I think actually I overdid it over here with this arc. Let me go ahead and make that a bit smaller. You'll notice I'm a little bit more liberal when it comes to making mistakes with his body. With the face though, you gotta have it down pretty exact. Otherwise it's gonna come out looking stupid. Doesn't matter if you get the body perfect if the face looks stupid. So let's go ahead and color that in. And it doesn't need to be totally colored in at this point. We're just trying to make sure that, because we do need to shade the jacket as well. But for right now, I just want to help us to separate it from everything else. So for his legs, we're going to stop about 2 inches from the bottom of the page. Keep in mind this is a 9 by 12 inch piece of drawing paper. His right leg is going to be a little bit higher than his left. Notice that I have drawn these 4 lines and I'm going to use them to divide his legs into 3 equal parts. And you can see that the largest creases in his pants are going to end on one of those lines. So this is going to help us to draw the details on his pants in a nice organized way.